Welcome to the Digital Dreaming off the Gridiron Podcast. Your host, Oscar Lee. I'm joined today by 49ers great two-time NFC Championship game running back starter, and as well as NFC champion for the 2012 Niners Super Bowl 47 team, which was honored last weekend at Levi's, Mississippi State Bulldog, Anthony Boobie Dixon. Anthony, how you doing today, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, it's doing good, baby. Hey, congratulations on being honored, on as part of the 10th anniversary team. Obviously, you're at Levi's, 2 weeks ago, right? And I mean, I saw you on Twitter, talking, like interacting, like, how you felt like, you're unstoppable, right? So how's it like going back there, and connecting with everybody?
Man, it felt so good, man. I called it the reunion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And man, the Yorks, everybody, the 49ers, the organization they put on, man. It was carpet. They had Spice Adams. We had Family Feud, man. We had a banquet. Harbaugh was there. Man, it just felt good to see everybody there. Everybody was kicking good vibes. It was just a good night, a good weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And obviously, like, to see all your ex-teammates, obviously like this guy right here who Spike Lee is going to be doing a documentary about. I'm kind of curious, what do you think about, the new kind of Colin Kaepernick docu-series that's coming out? And kind of, what do you think about, if he ever is going to get an opportunity to play again in the league?
I don't know if Cap will get another opportunity, man, but I love what Cap doing, having played beside him and went to war with him, like I did, I'm proud of, what he's accomplished, and who he is, you know what I'm saying? And I wish him nothing but the best. And I hope, he get whatever, he want, because I feel like he deserves it. He a stand-up guy, he an honorable guy. So, I ain't got nothing but respect and love for him.
100%. Yeah, me too. I mean, Cap is obviously, the one who put Niners on the map, and we're going to get into that in a bit. Let's start off with your early life. So obviously when you guess your early life, I think were you originally from Mississippi, or was it, I think Louisiana?
I'm originally from Mississippi.
Mississippi, yeah. So to talk to me, was football your first love, or kind of how did you get into football?
Man, actually, baseball was my first love. Man, I got baseball running my family. I had two brothers get drafted to the MLB out of high school, and when we played when we was young, we all thought that's where we were headed.
Yeah.
Football just kind of, my dad played, so football just kind of just took over though. I just started getting better and better. Next thing I started getting scholarship offers. Next thing I was getting the ball every play almost on Friday night.
Yeah,
so it just kept going up for me. You know what I'm saying? I just kept getting better and better. So football ultimately took over.
Ultimately did. I think your younger brother, he played MLB, right? I think or he was drafted, right, by Major League Baseball team.
Yeah. My brother Rayshawn Dixon, he was drafted by the Oakland A's in the 10th round. And my brother Dixon Dixon was drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays.
Wow.
In the 10th round. Back-to-back years.
Yeah, a lot of talent in my family, you know what I mean?
Yeah, talented, man. We definitely some talented guys over here.
Yes, sir. I mean, if it runs in the veins, it is what it is,
It is what it is. God
given.
Yes,
sir. So yeah, so obviously let's talk. So you mentioned kind of Friday night, and obviously, when you first started playing, was fullback or running back your first position, or kind of what did you start off playing? Were you playing multiple positions?
Man, I was always a multiple position athlete. I never, I don't exactly remember what was my first position playing, but I remember, my first sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? I remember in Metroplex League, little youth league, they had the weigh-ins. And I've been grinding that whole off season. And the first exhibition games, man, I was killing them. 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, all that. And man, we get to the weigh-in and I'm over like 3 pounds. So man, I cried like a baby. They wouldn't let me carry the ball no more.
Man.
And I had to play offensive guard and middle linebacker.
Yeah.
All that talent. Couldn't even carry the ball.
Man.
So that's one of my first memories of football. And you know what, man, that mentality just kind of stuck with me throughout the whole process. Even though, in college and high school, I was the primary ball carrier. When I got to the NFL, I had to switch over and do special teams.
Yeah.
Had to switch over and play fullback. So, I think it helped get me started and, in the right direction.
100%. I obviously when I started playing, I actually played in JUCO. I didn't actually play in high school, and so for me, it was also kind of special teams was my opportunity to get my get to see some playing time. So I
Yeah.
mean, ultimately though, like you said, being versatile. Randy Cross, who also played for the Niners in the '80s, who was on this podcast, a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
basically stated that if you're versatile, it helps you kind of adapt to the NFL. Because like you said,
Yeah.
I mean, it's very saturated with talent, right? So you may or may not be able to be starting at that one desired position that you had been playing with, and you were the best at your entire life prior to making it to the league. So
Yeah. Yeah. What
yeah.
position did you play?
Well, I played slot. I was slot on special teams.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You had
Yeah.
the hands. You had the feet.
Hey man, no, I got in when I could, rotational, right? And so I mean for me, I did have hands, I mean I used to be fast, and then obviously then I blew my ACL, so it is what it is. So
Yeah.
you know
It
what I mean?
happens. It happens. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I basically had combine with San Jose SaberCats out here. I was like a 4 or 5. I ran like 4 or 5, but I was like 10, 12 years ago. So,
Okay.
no,
That's moving though. That's
yeah,
moving.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Yes, sir. All right, so yeah, now let's talk about high school, right? So when you get into high school, kind of, you mentioned you playing multiple positions. Kind of, what was that like? Obviously, for you, kind of, were you a 4-year starter on varsity? Or kind of, how did you, kind of, how was your high school career? How did it start and how to progress?
So first my ninth grade year, I played ninth grade and
Yeah,
I did good. I played receiver, I played running back. I was starting at receiver and I was splitting time at running back. You
yeah,
know, yeah, I didn't play varsity because after that I went to baseball. I was still a baseball player in my mind.
yeah,
Then our coaches wasn't really, they told us if we came to ninth grade, we would be able to practice and watch, but they didn't know if we was gonna play or not. They was basically telling us we weren't gonna play.
yeah.
So I was like, I ain't gonna do that then. I'm just go to baseball, because I got this swing, I got this arm, I can play the outfield,
Yes,
with the
sir.
best of them. So, I just went to baseball because I knew I was gonna play out there. I
Yeah.
was pretty much almost a starter, when I first got there, but it definitely took some time to work me in, but I pretty much was a starter from the get-go out there. So yeah, so that's kind of how I started. Kind of how I started.
Yeah, and I think like you said, I think playing multiple sports kind of gave you that. It helped you, I think, right? Because then it helped you kind of be more adaptable. I think when you basically during off season, during summer camp, right? Would you say so?
Yeah, yeah. Man, I played basketball as well.
Yeah,
During the summer, man, that's what I said, man. Shout out to my mom. She was a warrior. She was a soldier. She was taking me to football games and basketball games and baseball games. I was running in the basketball gym still with dirt on my sock,
yeah,
from the game earlier, in the morning, in the afternoon. I was going to basketball games late. I was also doing football lifting in the mornings. You know what I'm saying? So it was just nonstop running. So man, salute to her. But man, you gotta have somebody in your corner that supports you, that can support you and help you get, all those opportunities. So, man, I wouldn't be, who I am today, definitely without my family. I wouldn't be able to accomplish none of that without my family, my brothers, the support I had, man. So shout out to them.
shout, yeah, the big shout out, to moms, right? Number one, always.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yes, sir. And it's funny for you, kind of, for me, when I played in JUCO, my college coach Keith Williams, now the offensive coordinator on the assistant passing game specialist on the Baltimore Ravens now, right? He was a guest on the show too. And for me, kind of getting that exposure and that experience helped me kind of really understand and learn that the receiver position. Even though I obviously wasn't like you playing the league, right? But got to play JUCO, got to play arena and semi-pro. And it really helped me kind of, just, having that leadership figure, like you said, someone that anchor to kind of latch on and kind of, kind of go to, right? It was definitely beneficial. I'm sure you say that too, right? For your career,
Oh
you know?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man. And it wasn't just her, man. It was numerous people. You
Yeah.
know, I was really raised by the community. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm Jackson through and through. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
So it's like, yeah, man. I had a lot of people support me. And pushing us out there, and I just took it and ran with it.
Yes,
Pretty
sir.
much.
100%. So yeah, let's talk about that. You actually did take your ran with it. You had a great high school career, right? You basically set also all type of state records, right? So talk to me about that. When did you kind of transition to like a full-time kind of running back, fullback role?
Man, I think the explosion started my sophomore year.
Yeah.
I had good games, but I kept getting hurt. I remember having a high ankle sprain. Probably like in the third game. The first game I tore it up. My debut game against our rivals across town, I had a long touchdown, 100 yards. We won. We beat them for the first time in a while. And, that was kind of the start. But my sophomore year, I struggled, with injuries, man. I had a good amount of yards and some good touchdowns. I was returning kicks, playing a little bit of defense. Like I was doing it all. Then I broke my collarbone, like in the 7th game of the season, when I was getting close to like 1,000. And, it kind of shut me down for the rest of the year. So when I came back my junior year, that offseason, man, I was working. I was busting my butt. I said, they ain't taking me off the field no more. Like,
yeah.
I'm finna be the best. Like, I'm finna get big. I'm finna get my body, because I was a baseball player. Yeah. So I still hadn't really put myself through those, vigorous workouts, those tough and grinding workouts that, football players got to put themselves through to last during the season.
Yes, sir.
So, that off season, I really got on it. I was really determined. I was running heels like Walter Payton and Jerry Rice. I was watching videos of them. I said, yeah, this is how I got to do it. This is how I'm finna go. So, you know what I'm saying? Then my junior year, man, I just came back and exploded. And, I really knew it was for me. My junior year, we was playing in my hometown. Of course, I went to a high school outside of my hometown called Terry High School. Shout out to them. But so we go to the inner city. We go to play a school called Jim Hill. And I got my cousin starting at quarterback. We've been talking noise all week. We actually went to their game the week before with our jerseys on their sideline, like, yeah, we gonna whoop y'all butt next week.
Yeah, whoop y'all ass today.
yeah, football in the South, man. That's football in the South.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, you're preaching, man. Football in the South is a completely different animal. So 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so we get, and actually we had a couple of dudes transfer from my school to their school, so it was up. It was up to high. And man, I went out there that night. I had like 30-some carries for like 330 yards. MVP of the game, of course. Man, finished the game with 9 carries in a row. Came off the sideline. They was just shouting my name, AD. I knew then. I was like, yeah, this shit for me. I can do this. I can take this all the way in. Man, from that moment, it was just up. It was just up. I just kept on going.
100%, man. Went up and kept going, baby. And kind of AD, right? I mean, that's Nick. I forgot to ask, how did you get the nickname Boobie?
So this is how that came about. So when I got to Mississippi State campus, right?
Yeah.
And I was a true freshman. You know how they treat the true freshmen. At first, nobody was going to call me by my right name. Yeah. They want to call me everything, but my name. So it was like I came in, though I was a baller, during the summer. I was out there running routes, playing defense, like, intense, talking noise to everybody. I'm true freshman. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I was making plays. You know what I'm saying? I was balling. So when camp started, everybody was waiting to see what I was going to do. And man, I came back out in camp balling. And so the movie Friday Night Lights came out.
Boobie Miles, yes, sir.
So, the defense, the older guys, the seniors on the sideline, they over there, man, this dude nice. You know what I'm saying? He like Boobie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I didn't see the movie. I didn't know what they were talking about. They just kept saying, Boobie. I thought I was making runs. They was like, we got Boobie. We got Boobie Dixon. I'm like, what is y'all talking about? So, I go watch the movie and I come back the next day. I'm like, okay, I like it. It's straight. You know what I'm saying? Minus some of the BS, but I was like, it was just came from me, man, just making plays, just being a player. Coach Kroom, who was my coach at the time, Sylvester Kroom, he was lining me up at quarterback. I was playing some slot. I was playing running back. Like, we had a formation called Wild Bulldog. I'm a true freshman. They got me in there rolling out, throwing passes. You know what I'm saying? So once my teammates started seeing that, and it was every day, it just wasn't no, oh man, he did good today, but yesterday he was trash. No, I was good pretty much every day. And they was just like, yeah, we got a dog right here. We got one of them ones.
Hell yeah, no, you definitely did. So yeah, what was that? So with Mississippi State, what was your recruitment process like? Because you mentioned your junior year, right, in your high school. Kind of what set Mississippi State apart from the other schools? What ultimately made you decide to go Mississippi State and become a Bulldog?
Well, man, ultimately it was hometown.
Yeah.
It was the home team. And
Mhm.
then like I grew up a Bulldog, like high school, middle
Yeah.
school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Middle school I was Bulldog. High school I was the Bulldog. So, when the recruiting process came about, I'm like, okay, state right here, you know what I'm saying? They showing a lot of love. They the Bulldogs already. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But then, I got to throw in stuff like, Sylvester Crone being the first Black coach in the SEC. When I went to go visit with him, they did so much, helping me get qualified, and when I say helping me, I mean like, they came to the school. They were showing up at the school every week,
Yeah.
taking me by the counselor's office. Like I wasn't even qualified at first. I wasn't going to even make it to D1. I was going to have to go JUCO because I just wasn't focused in the classroom. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I just wasn't focused in the classroom. I didn't have my grades. So, but Coach Kroon kept coming. He kept banging on me. He kept, I took the ACT, I know 7 times, 8 times trying to get it, and yeah, man. So once they did that and they showed the love they showed, it was easy. It was easy. I was like, man, this where I need to go.
100%. Actually, yeah, you touched on something important because I want to talk about that. We just mentioned about the grades. For me, that's why I couldn't play in high school because my grades were not. I was knucklehead, not making the right decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
We
it
all
was what
been,
it was. So yeah, good.
I said we all been there. I feel
Yes,
you.
sir. Yeah. So talk to me about that. How did you kind of turn it around? What made you right the ship and kind of how were you able to kind of go from, like you said, the ACT 7 times? What was that motivation? Was it Mississippi State or was it anything else that kind of helped you kind of, right that ship?
Well, man, just knowing my background, man, coming from where I come from, I'm coming out the, even though I wasn't there at the time, I always, didn't, I never forgot where I came from. And that was coming out that homeless shelter, coming from poverty, you know what I'm saying, not having it. So, when I got to that point and it finally hit me, like, I'm like, dang, I really got to do this or I ain't going to be able to, keep advancing. So it was like, now I got to turn it on. I was smart, but I just wasn't applying myself. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty much relying on my talent to carry me. And I found out talent only carry you so far.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you eventually got to start doing some work. You got to have some brains. You know what I'm saying? So once I realized that, and I was like, man, I'm going to miss out on my opportunity because I'm in here playing. I'm not applying myself. Like, I need to start taking this serious. Like, this serious. Like I take football and sports serious, I started taking the classroom serious. So, man, I was coming home. I started studying more. I was in class writing notes. I'm like, yeah, I got to get it. Like, I was coming home taking practice tests. I was going to workshops. Like, I would sit at the computer for like an hour, taking a practice test and grading myself. And, I just kept getting better and better. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it just came from me wanting to grind. Like, and then I had 3 brothers coming up behind me. So I wanted to be a great example. You know what I'm saying? Because I had people pretty much my whole life telling me, hey, you got your 3 brothers behind you. They looking at you too. So you gotta show good. You gotta do good. So, that stuck with me too. I felt some type of way kind of being a man of the house early, once my mom and my dad divorced, I felt like it was on me to kind of pull us up out of that, to kind of get us on the other side, of things. So, man, I just stepped up, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it was.
100%. No, I think, it's important to kind of, like you said, know where you come from. And obviously, being from a homeless shelter, when I was actually playing JUCO, my coach Keith Williams worked with James Jones of the Packers. You might know him. You played against him a few times, right?
Yeah,
and he actually had the same struggle. He came up from a homeless shelter before he was able to kind of, get going and obviously get into San Jose State, and the rest of history from there. I'm thinking, kind of what you just said, kind of being the man of the house, having other brothers look up to you. That almost sets it up. Like you said, like it's kind of like you said, changing that perception and changing that narrative to kind of say you're limitless, right? Basically, because at that point, when you're able to prove that, hey, I can do this, anyone can get it. You're grinding every single day, both in the classroom, on the field, in the weight room, right? It makes it a lot easier for you and kind of like you said, for the ones coming up, next after you to be like, all right, cool, we got this because Big Bro got this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's great. You know, and so yeah, let's talk about now. Yeah, so you mentioned Mississippi State, right? Now you're there, you start, kind of your freshman season. And you did obviously, you started making plays. Kind of what was your kind of when you first started playing in college, when did you kind of feel like you knew you had to go to the NFL?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, and it might sound cocky, but I knew it as soon as I walked in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that summer on the turf, when
Yeah.
we was out there doing 7-on-7s and we was getting ready. Now, it took me a while to get my conditioning
Yeah.
together. When they first got us, man, they ran us to death.
Yeah.
But as far as like, my ability to make plays, oh man, did nothing change. It was like I was at high school. So I knew pretty much when I got up in there, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I'm finna take over.
Yeah, 100%. No, obviously, like like you said, when you first started, you start doing those 2-a-days, right? And then they got
Yeah,
you running 95-degree heat.
I just had to get adjusted to that. I just had to get adjusted to the new workload in
Yeah.
the ground. Once I got my body right and got conditioning that, oh man, they couldn't stop me. It was crazy.
Yes, sir. It's over at that point. No, because that's just kind of they say it's adjustment. Obviously, D1, JUCO different, right? But I mean, just college in general, anyone who's played, like the moment you kind of get used to the regimen, the schedule, and being able to balance that with classes, right? And it
Yeah,
can be difficult. You know what I mean? Because it's
it
like you got to
was.
balance.
It
Yeah,
was.
yeah. And so that I mean, actually, talk to me about that. How was it for you, kind of adjusting initially to that?
Man, it was a struggle. It was a
Yeah,
struggle. I wasn't some of the stuff I just wasn't going to.
yeah,
And me and Coach Kroom used to sit down and have these meetings. He like, come on, Boobie. Now you gotta go to class there. You gotta go to class, you gotta go study hall.
yeah.
Like stuff not optional. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at it like it's optional. Like I had a crazy mentality, man. Like I was still looking at some of that stuff like it was optional. I was like, yeah, I get it. I get it the next day, or I get it tomorrow. But they were like, no, you can't do that. Like you gotta be here every day. You gotta be there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man. So, just with him talking to me and just helping me stay on track and helping me stay on focus, I eventually, started clicking. I eventually started, and he was like, you cannot be, we don't want you to not be eligible,
Right.
for the season. So, Boobie, you gotta go to class. You gotta do this work. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? So, I had kind of got relaxed because, like I said, I had a lot of success early. Like I pretty much knew, when I walked on campus and we started competing, especially in camp, I knew I was gonna get that starting job. Like I was like, yeah, I'm coming. But so I got a little relaxed and I didn't want to go to classes and study hall and stuff like that. But just up in my discipline, I had to get more discipline. You know what I'm saying? It's just straight up. I had to tell myself, man, you got to be more disciplined. You got to be accountable to your teammates, to your team. Everybody else doing it. You need to do it too. You know what I'm saying? I just had to keep telling myself stuff like that, and eventually I, started getting on the right track.
100%. No, it sounds like coach had great influence on you, your teammates as well, right? Because I think having that, like I said, earlier, it's critical, just to succeed in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a huge adjustment. I mean, for anyone, right? I mean, it's a very, very big adjustment. So it's great that
Mm-hmm.
you're able to kind of do that, right? Talk to me about kind of what, like you said, you throughout your college career, you obviously had great moments and great games. What was your favorite moment, your highlight? Obviously, you're playing the SEC, so you obviously played against the top competition at the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have multiple national champions come out your conference. So kind of what was your favorite kind of moments, throughout your college career?
Oh man, it was so many of them, man.
Yeah.
Like I know the Kentucky game when I broke the school record. They still play that video a lot on social media. That was a great night, because I overcame a lot that night. And it was Halloween night, and so that memory gonna always stick. Broke the school record, my senior year. But man, I had some games my freshman year. I'll never forget my first game against South Carolina on ESPN. I'm like, wow, man, I done made it. I'm on ESPN. Like, I think I had 12 carries, like 60 some yards. So, and then after that, I was moved to starter. I went into my first game as the backup. I rushed the backup in my first game. Then my coach made me starter the next week in meetings, and then I go out there on a Monday practice or a Tuesday practice, and I break my pinky.
Man.
So that's another great memory, of me. I battled through adversity because I broke my pinky, had a surgery on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? I rested Thursday, showed up to practice Friday, like, Coach, I want to play. And he was like, okay, we're going to see if you can take handoffs and catch passes. You sure you want to play? I'm like, yes, I want to play. I want my spot. I worked too hard for this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna just give it up, I'm like, F this pinky. You know what I'm saying? We could tape both of them together and I can carry the ball with one hand. It don't matter. I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm starting. I'm a starter now. So that was another great memory, something about it. And I had a pretty good, solid game against Auburn, that week. They was playing me kind of dirty. They was trying to step on my hand and stuff like that. They had caught word. But, man, I had a decent week against them. But it kind of held me back because it started bothering me later on in practice every day. So I couldn't just stay at the same level because some days I was nursing it and resting it. So, it was a struggle. That was a struggle, but I ended up setting up all the true freshman records at state. And they still set now, most rushing yards, most touchdowns, most carries by a true freshman ever. So, I battled through a lot and accomplished a lot that year. But, man, in college, I just so much, game-winning touchdown against undefeated UCF in the bowl game.
Yes, sir.
my sophomore year, that was great. I think I had 18 touchdowns this year. First true sophomore with 1,000 yards, in Mississippi State history. So, man, it's so many, games I can name, man. But, the victory against Alabama, I had 2 victories against Alabama back to back. I started out 2-0 against those guys.
Yeah.
And so, and the reason why I was so proud of that because Alabama took my scholarship offer on an unofficial visit. Yeah, they did me like that.
Damn.
So, it was war when I seen them. When I told them walking out the office, I said, all right, if that's how y'all, because they were trying to make me commit. And they was like, they was basically telling me, if you don't commit, then it's not going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, well, I ain't grow up loving Alabama like that. I'm not just head over heels for y'all. Like, this is an unofficial visit. Like, I ain't even came and sat with y'all and hung out with y'all long enough. So it was just like one of those deals where I was like, I'm good. I see y'all on the other side. And yep, I got they tell, them first 2 games, I got them good. So, it was just stuff like that. Those would be some of my great memories.
No, and that's tremendous. Because like you said, if they pull your scholarship like that, I mean, like you said, I mean, like, that tends to be underhanded tactics. We've seen that historically, for many players, throughout the years, right? I mean, from like the 80s and like Bo Jackson, right? And many others, right? So obviously, like, when they do that, you'd think that the NCAA would be a little bit more kind of stricter on kind of, how they enforce those policies on student athletes. But, the school pretty much still has all the leverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
they got scholarship.
Yeah. And they got Nick Saban and all that. But yeah, you got beat Nick Saban twice, right? I mean,
actually, it wasn't Nick. I beat Nick Saban once.
Okay.
The first year, which they fired the coach after the game. Oh my God, it felt so good.
Yeah.
It was Mike Schuler.
Yeah.
Mike Schuler. So the son of, I want to say the Don Schuler, the
Don
famous.
Schuler. Yeah.
Coach. Mike Schuler was the coach, and I remember Sparky Woods was recruiting me. He was the running back coach. Yeah, I'll never forget. I still remember their name. And yeah, man, when they pulled that move, I just said, okay, I'll see y'all on the other side, man. Like, I'm not going like that. And so I ended up for Rivals freshman of the week. I had 125 in Bryant Denton Stadium on like 25 carries and a touchdown, and we was, riding back on the buses. And then we had breaking news on ESPN. Alabama fires coach Mike Schuler. I was, yes.
Yeah.
I was popping champagne when I got back to Starkville. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where the giddy at? Pull up, fellas.
Yes, sir. So we out here, baby.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I told them.
Yeah. No, and like you said, that redeeming feeling, that quality when you're able to prove someone wrong, right? Whenever they do something bad to you, right? Like you said, that chip on that shoulder just keeps building, and that's further motivation. You know what I mean? And anyone who's ever played can definitely relate to that. I mean, it doesn't matter what level, but that's kind of because I remember when I was getting recruited, right? Not necessarily being recruited, but when I was trying to walk on at JUCOs, because I didn't have any film from high school. I remember when some of the JUCOs they were doing to me, they're like, "Yeah, no, Ali, like I mean, you're great. We love your heart, but honestly, since you never played in high school, you're not gonna be able to make it. You're not gonna be able to even make anything." So that was my personal chip on my shoulder to go out there and prove to myself I could play. And so for me, when I was finally able to make it on JUCO roster and take that, to as far as I was able to take it, to arena semi-pro, I was very, very happy because I still remember, those, like you said, those situational coaches who basically said what they said. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what's up, man.
I appreciate it.
I was already pretty much a motivated person, because of what I had gone through. But all that little stuff, like you say, it's just be fuel on the fire.
Yes, sir.
They think you gonna forget, but you don't. You don't.
No, hell no. You never do. So, like you said, so now obviously like so many great moments, your great college career, right? Mississippi State Bulldogs Hall of Fame. I mean, so it is what it is, right? We talking, right? So big ballers, baby. So talk to me about kind of when you your last year, your junior, senior year, when you're preparing, to obviously for the draft. What was that experience like for you? Was it similar to your recruitment experience where a bunch of D1s are coming your way, or kind of how was that? Was it a little different than that?
Well, getting ready for the draft.
Getting ready for the draft, yeah.
Yeah, man. So my junior year, I was in a big dilemma, man. I had a great sophomore year, and my plans was to leave my junior year.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the season that I wanted. I ended up, me and Coach Kroon kind of had like an argument, and he benched me for like 3 games, and so I didn't get the numbers that I wanted, that I needed. You know what I'm saying? I still played good, but my carries got cut. So it was like I didn't have the numbers I wanted to leave my junior year. So I ended up staying my senior year, and I got in a little trouble to start my senior year. But I got once I came back, I got suspended for the first game. And but once I came back after that game, oh man, I just went on the tear. You know what I'm saying? I got my mind focused. I was like, man, I'm not finna blow my senior year. You know what I'm saying? There was 1 game, but I got 10 more to go. And I said, everything still in front of me. I'm still gonna break the school record. I'm still gonna finish with the most yards. Like I'm just finna go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I was angry. I was angry at myself more than anything because I put myself in that situation. But I was just like, man, I still got more to prove. I just still feel like I had so much more to prove. They left me off the dope walker list. They did me dirty. They was leaving me off everything. I'm like, what? I've been balling in the SEC since I got here. You know what I'm saying? And so my senior year, they leave me off most of the awards list. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm finna show them. So at the end of the year, I end up first team SEC, led the conference, yards per game. Mark Ingram won the Heisman, but I felt like I was the Heisman. Because I said, if you put me on that team, I'm going to be the Heisman too. So, man, I just had a great year, and rest is history.
Rest is history, right? Obviously. And so, like you said, coming back from you said getting in trouble and kind of, like you said, the suspension, there were still setbacks, but that was just, like we talked about, that chip on the shoulder. You know what I mean? Like that just kept,
Yeah, I just stayed motivated, man. I was still a young kid growing up.
Yeah.
And so, I was making mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And I was learning a lot of things about trial and error, my dad, he wasn't, the most disciplinary, teacher. So a lot of times, like I said, I just had to learn stuff, on my own. And so, I just was taking my bumps and bruises. And I just kept on kicking. I felt like with my brothers watching me, with the support I had too, I felt like I was unstoppable. I was like, I'm destined for it. Like I was telling my mom when I was young, I'm going to the NFL. Like, ain't nothing gonna stop me. Like, I know I'm one of the best. I just got to go out here and show them, every day. And that's what I would focus on. Even when I was getting in those little troubles, when I went to practice, you felt my energy. Like, that's where I wanted to be. Like, I didn't want to be in those classrooms like that. But when it came time to be at practice, oh man, I was loud. I was intense. I was in my teammate's face. I love to practice. I was one of those. So, I was willing to work, and I knew as long as I stayed like that, that I was gonna get everything that was coming to me.
100%. No, like you said, it's a mindset, right? It's just a
Yeah.
mindset, and like learning trial and error, it makes you better. And I mean, we've all had the situations, so no, it's great to see how that helped you reach the ultimate level. Now we can talk about, obviously, like you said, your senior year. I mean, you mentioned that you kind of, like you said, you were left off the list, but you had a great senior year. So obviously, when you got to the end of your senior year and you're basically getting invited, obviously, were you invited? Actually, let me ask, were you invited to all the bowl games? The draft, whatever,
Yeah.
how was that experience like,
Yeah,
initially?
they invited me to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
I went to the combine.
Yeah.
Man, they was all like, it was like a dream.
Yeah.
Because you kind of grow up watching this stuff, and you like, dang, you looking at guys go before you, and you like, and even though I done said numerous times, since we've been talking, that I was confident I was gonna make it, and I knew I was ready. Sometimes you just don't know.
Right.
You have times you sitting there, you like, man, am I really that good?
Yeah.
Can I really compete with those guys? And man, once you get there and you get around them and you start playing against them, like, man, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like it was a little bit of nervousness, and but I was ready to attack the process in full. Now I don't think I handled it the best way I could, but hey, like I said, a lot of that trial and error was still going on. So I think that's why I fell in the draft, because I could have handled the draft process better. But man, once it happened and it was like, dang, I actually made it. It just was like the feeling was like I wasn't crying, like I was just like motivated. I was really more angry than I was, sad, because I was like, I can't believe they let me wait to the 6th round. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, so it was like, yeah, man, it was one of those. And I'll never forget that first preseason coming in, leading the league in rushing yards and touchdowns. And we went 4-0. You know what I'm saying? And I started the 3 games after the first game when I won MVP of the game, had like 120 some yards in my first career game, tore it up. It's on YouTube, but at my first career game, I tore it up. We was playing the Colts back in Indianapolis where we were for the combine. And I'm looking, I see Peyton Manning on the sideline. I see Edgerrin James. I'm like, ooh, I'm here. This is the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I said, to myself in that moment, I was like, yeah, it's time to show up, turn up. It's time to show the world what you got. You belong here. You know what I'm saying? You built for this. And I went off that game, and then I started the next 3 games and we won. I scored touchdowns. I was getting, hella yards, and all of that, led everybody. So, and then after that, I knew I was made for it. I was like, ain't no more self-doubt. Ain't no more questioning myself. I know I belong here. I know I'm one of them. And I just kept on just balling, just kept on grinding.
100%. And absolutely, yeah. Let's talk about obviously with that preseason, because that was last year. Mike Singletary was there as head coach, and Jim Tom Sula. Right? So, kind of, what was that like when you first stepped into? Obviously, it was before Levi's. It was obviously Candlestick Park, right? And it was still in San Francisco. What was that experience like when you first kind of stepped on the scene? In San Francisco in that locker room.
Oh man, it was different, man. Some of the guys were kind of chattering about me when I got there. They was like, "Oh yeah, that's the big running back from Mississippi State." You know what I'm saying? Because some of them were SEC guys. They was like, he running, he get a lot of yards. And then plus, I had been going against Patrick Willis, so we already had some history. And as soon as I seen him, I was like, yeah, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? My freshman year, I played him my senior year at Ole Miss, had 125 yards, drug him in the end zone on a touchdown carry early in the game, true freshman. Never let him forget it. And so, when I seen it, I was like, yeah, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? But of course, he was all world, all pro at the time, Mr. Big Shot. But man, we got back to having those battles. He helped mold me into a great player. Not just him, that whole defense, man. We had some studs on that
dogs, boy, goddamn.
Yeah, dogs.
Yeah.
So battling those boys every day really just helped mold me into the guy I became,
Yeah. Now, and I think, like you said, Navarro Bowman, who's also a rookie that same year, right? I'm sure that must have helped a little bit, right?
Right? Yeah, me and Navarro, when we first got there, man, we hooked up and it was just like, we was same draft class, we was kind of just going around everywhere together, stuff like that, And that was my dog, but we also was having battles,
Yeah.
on the field. So we'll get back in the car. He like, man, you had your hands in my face today. I'm like, dang, bro, you were tackling late though. You was out there tackling late though. You know what I'm saying? You kind of went low on me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get you. So it was stuff like that, man. But we were best buddies. We sitting in the car, talking about this stuff after we were just out there fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? So, just stuff like that. Guys like him. Aldis Smith was another guy. He came along. We was always out there, mixing it up as well, So, just guys like that, knowing them guys, knowing their attitudes, knowing how my attitude was, we just, it was some clashes, but it made us better. It made all us better.
Iron sharpens iron, you know what I mean? That's the saying. Yes, sir.
That was definitely our motto.
Yep. Yes, sir. And so obviously, because I think Mike Singletary preached that to some level, I think, right? Was that kind of,
it was on the wall. It was on the wall.
Yeah, Iron Mike Singletary. You had to put iron on that. So So you mentioned, so obviously you were starting all preseason games, but then obviously when the season started, Frank Gore still, Mr. All Pro, All World, kind of all-time league rusher was still on the roster. So kind of what was that, right? Talking about that transition.
Yeah, well, Frank came back and stole the show.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened. Then, which was that was the one point in my career where I really was like, I got introduced to how the league worked. You know what I'm saying? Because, I knew I was ready. You know what I'm saying? Then the tape don't lie, film don't lie. You see me getting those yards and crushing those defenses, but it's still a game within the game. You know what I'm saying? So, once Frank came back, and then all of a sudden that same offseason, we signed Brian Westbrook. He got released from the Philadelphia Eagles for the concussions and stuff. We signed him and bring him on. So, I'm steady dropping down, and I'm like, what? And then so I had a meeting with Coach Singletary before the preseason started. He was like, man, you ball out, you do what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna put you behind Frank. You know what I'm saying? We all love your energy. You just gotta play well. We gotta play well. So I'm like, piece of cake. This is what I've been doing my whole career. I got you. Yeah. And then once I do that, and then it turned around, something else happened. I'm like, dang, what's going on? We went 4-0. I'm the leader of the preseason. I should be the starter. Frank who? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. Frank who played me. But man, it didn't happen. It went to Brian Westbrook came in. Now I'm third. So now they telling me, now you got to run down on special teams. I'm like, I ain't never played special team before. You know what I'm saying? Give me the rock. Like I'm the rock man. I'm Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Give me the rock.
We out here, baby.
Yeah. So, it was one of those things where I was like, I had to adjust, man, like right off the bat. I'm, adversity already, and me and Singletary had a great conversation about it. It opened me up to the game more as to why I wasn't, made the man right away. You know what I'm saying? But I just learned. And I just kept grinding, and I just kept fighting for that opportunity. 49ers was my, team growing up. My favorite team to watch growing up. So I was happy where I was at. I just wasn't happy with the opportunity I was getting.
100%. No, and I think you're right, because when you are having such a phenomenal preseason, and you lead the team to a 4-0 record, and the team historically up to that point had not made the playoffs for 7 straight seasons, right? Yep. I mean, you're thinking like, come on now, right? I mean, young fresh, so
of course.
Yeah, and so obviously, like you said, kind of, with the opportunity and the lessons, like you said, to kind of transition to special teams, I think you probably learned a lot. And kind of when you played special teams, were you pretty much you're basically obviously like the gunning or jamming, I guess gunning obviously on special teams, right, or basically for return, were you also a blocking return man for the returner? Did you return any kicks? Kind of talk to me about that a little bit when you first started.
Yeah, I did it all. I played the front line, I played the middle line, I played returner.
Yeah.
I played right wing. No, I played left wing on punt. Never
Yeah.
gave up a block. Barely
Yeah.
in my 4 years, I never gave up a block. Barely even gave up a pressure. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Lockdown out there. On hold up, I played in on punt return. Was locked down. I led the team in knockdowns every year on special teams. I was by far our most physical player
Yeah.
on the special teams. And yeah, man, I just kind of started taking pride in it. It was like it came one of those things. I'm a prideful guy anyway. So it was like, okay, y'all gonna ask me to do this. This the adversity I've been hit with, so I'm gonna be great at it.
Yeah.
My thing was I was trying to be great at it. And I felt like I should have made the Pro Bowl a couple of years off special teams. I know at least my first year in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Now, San Francisco, I had some pretty good years, but I know my first year in Buffalo, man, I went off. But yeah, man, it was a learning process from the gate though. Like I wasn't practicing on kick slide and hold up at Mississippi State. I was getting the rock. I was on the sideline doing that time.
Yeah.
And so, actually I did practice on my kick slide. I was doing the kick slide, but that's about it. I wasn't doing everything else, but it came in handy when I got to the league. But yeah, man, it was just an adjustment process. Like I was like, dang, I ain't never ran down on kicks before. Now I gotta run down on kicks. Now I gotta learn how to, dodge through these lanes and stuff like that. So I just took pride in it. And I felt like I was one of the best at it.
100%. No, obviously, like you said, lane integrity, right? Knowing which lane to kind of hit, knowing which way to kind of converge, on the wedge, right? Like you said, the end and everything, right? And obviously, if you didn't play special teams, you won't appreciate this. But for me, that's what you know what I mean. But
and we see all the teams who don't appreciate special teams losing every weekend.
Absolutely.
Man, you gotta appreciate special teams, man. The third phase is still an important phase in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I learned, and I grew grew more fond of it because, I won't lie, early on, I didn't really, put much into a special team because I always just played offense.
Yeah.
But once I started playing it and realizing the effect, field position, I feel like that's the reason why our defense was so good, because when we punted the ball and we kicked the ball off, we stuck teams back. We gave up probably one touchdown my whole career in the game that we in the worst time ever. But I think we gave up one kickoff return my whole career with the 49ers. So we was an elite unit. You know what I'm saying? The whole time we were shutting guys down the whole time. And guys like Patrick and stuff, they used to tell us how important it was to them. They was like, Dixon, we love what y'all doing on special teams. Like, we need y'all to keep doing that, like, because y'all help us with, pushing these teams back, field position. Field position is such an important part of the game, you know what I'm saying? And special team helps a lot with that. So I just started learning the game more, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it did for me.
100%. It's funny you mentioned you only had one touchdown score. When I played JUCO and arena, and when I was playing kickoff and I was most playing punt, we had actually 0 touchdown score when I was on the field. Because when I got my twilight years, when I started playing up until my late 20s, right, I basically kind of took more of a leadership role, but I'd be able to kind of coach the guys and tell them which way to go. You know what I mean? And it's just because, like you said, it's awareness, right? It's awareness. It's knowing kind of where to kind of, you said, pin the field, pin the other team deep, right? And basically, know exactly kind of how critical it is to kind of, make sure that you make those plays, right? Because like you said, that can open up an opportunity if you're trying to become an every down player. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what kept me active, I was out, for every game in my career for 6 years, I was always on the active roster.
Yeah.
I was never inactive for a game, and I think, I took pride in that because I wanted to be there for my teammates. You know what I'm saying? I was like, every week I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be just chilling, So, I took pride in being ready every week. I took pride in, making sure my effort was there. I took pride in knowing my plays, so I could be up. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes little stuff like both things I just mentioned hold you back, and you end up not being inactive because you maybe not out there doing the right thing, or you maybe not out there playing hard enough every day. So I just made sure I could control, what I can control. That was my energy. That was my focus. And, I just went out there and played hard. And I was like, man, I want to play on Sunday, every Sunday, Mondays and Thursdays too.
Yes, sir. And that's how you get your work, baby.
Yep.
That's what you can eat.
Gotta get that money.
You get money, baby. Yeah. So talk to me about kind of when Mike Singletary was let go and Jim Tom Sewell took over in the last half of that season. What was that transition like? Was there any kind of adjustment process to the coaching change your rookie year?
See, was I still there? Oh yeah, I was still there.
Yeah, you're there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, man. It was different, man. Because Tom was so crazy, man. My picture, and I know y'all gonna be like, that's crazy, but it's just one picture that I always have of Tom Sewell is him with his shirt off, with all that hair on his chest and his gold necklaces, him walking in the locker room like, yeah, what's up, fellas? What's up? He's one of them, like, Jim, what is you doing, man? Cover that up. Like I had never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Up until that point. So I was like, why are you so hairy? You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, but he was so cool, man. He was so funny, man. I love playing for Jim. And yeah, man, it was just one of those things. I hated to see Coach Singletary leave because, that staff and those guys was the guys that, pretty much brought me in. And when stuff like that happen, it can sometimes mean bad because, the next staff coming in, you don't know how they're going to feel about you. You don't know if they're going to want you there. So, I didn't know what was going to happen the next year. And then we was actually locked out right after that. So, I went home like, after this season, like, dang, my coach got fired. We locked out. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. But, yeah, man, I miss with Harbaugh. And I love that staff as well. You know what I'm saying? That team more than anything. And yeah, we did great things too.
Oh no, you definitely did great things. We're gonna talk about that right now. All right. So let's talk about that. All right. So when Tom goes out the door, he said there's the lockout season, right? And then Harbaugh was announced that off season as the head coach. When the lockout ended and everyone was able to come back and start practicing again, kind of talk to me about what that was like, obviously, with Harbaugh and that coaching staff and the new administration over there in San Francisco.
Well, if I can remember, man, I just remember when we came back, it felt more like a college setting again.
Yeah.
Like, with Singletary, it was all pro. You know what I'm saying? But when Harbaugh came in, I can't lie, he brought some of that Stanford ritual with him. I think he even brought the strength and conditioning guys with him. He brought the whole thing with him. So it was back like, kind of had that feel to it, how we started operating again, so, I just remember everybody coming in though, ready to work because Harbaugh was all about the work now. His thing was more is more. He wanted to work the long, hard hours. He had we had these blue, what they call them, blue collar shirts, all blue with blue collars with our name tags on them, kind of like the car mechanic shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we, that was our, mentality. That was his motto. We a blue collar team. We're gonna outwork the competition. More is more. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get it.
So that's how we work, man. We was out there long days. Long, it was hard. It got harder. That was one of my hardest years of prep. You know what I'm saying? Just with him coming in and him bringing his crew in, but it paid off. We went straight to the championship game.
Let's talk about that. All right. So that off season and kind of, and now that season, right? When did you when the Niners started going on a run and started, we see, 1-1, 2-1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we started seeing 9, and it's like we hadn't seen that for a while. When did you kind of feel like you had something? You know what I mean?
Well, I felt like that, and I'm trying to remember that season, but I just remember us winning. Once you start winning them games that everybody on Sunday picking you to lose, how you get Fox and CBS at the time, and we playing the Panthers. 5 of the dudes up there got the Panthers winning. One dude picked the 49ers. So, boom, next day we win the game.
Yeah.
Now next week They still doing it. Next thing you know, we win the game. Then, once they keep going on, and then finally then you start seeing the flip. They like, oh, the Niners, they got this swag back. These Niners different. These ain't the same night. Now everybody picking us.
Yeah.
So, we knew what we was, inside the building, but it just took a while for other folks to see it, and of course we had to go prove it. We had to go win. So, once we start winning those games, and it just, that's when we knew. Once you start winning 3, 4 in a row, and then we talking playoffs, that's when I knew.
Yeah. And so talk to me about kind of, when your first experience, and actually before we do that, I think the 2011 season was your first opportunity where you actually got to see some goal line touches, right? Where you got to start actually scoring some touchdowns. So talk to me about what was that like to get those goal line opportunities and be used as like a third down back.
Yeah. So I remember my first carry, on my first NFL carry, I scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but I it was against the New Orleans Saints, on like Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, something like that. I remember it being a night game.
Yeah.
And that was my first time, since the preseason to get my shine. Frank had really carried the ball the whole game. I wasn't getting no burn. I'm on special teams. I'm like, dang, man, I want to rock. I know I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
And finally, we get down close to the goal line. I think Frank had a chance to get it in, and he didn't, and they called my number. And what'd they do that for? I was ready.
Yeah.
So, man, I just remember getting the ball. I think it was an ISO or a lead off the left side. And I remember just blasting through the hole, high stepping in the end zone. And Joe Staley lifting me up in the end zone, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was another one of those moments where I knew I was ready. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was, I knew I belonged. And just, I knew I was ready for goal line carries and short yardage carries, man, because I'm a bruiser. How I was, you can go watch my film. You will hardly ever see me get knocked back.
Yeah.
That's one thing that didn't happen. I didn't get knocked back often. Now I got tripped up sometimes, like, sometimes it wasn't nowhere to go, but you rarely ever see me get knocked back. So I knew I was ready for that.
100%. Now you mentioned the Saints, perfect. Now we'll go back to the playoffs, right? Now your first season when you played the Saints in the NFC divisional, and that was the game where they basically had to catch 3 with Alex Smith the Burnt. Yeah, talking about that game.
Oh man, that was a game full of crazy emotions. I think I cried sad tears. I think I cried happy tears. Like at one point I was like, oh man, we lost. We done lost. It's over. But then, we come back and it was crazy, man. Like the energy, the emotions on the sideline, what Vernon displayed, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think it was for all of us. He was just the one that had to, he had to be the one to, it just had to be Vernon. But Vernon earned that, man. That was a great catch. But no, that was the move, man. We were fighting so hard that game. And at one point I felt like we was in control. And then next thing you know, New Orleans Saints took control. And then, we like, oh man, then we take control again. Then I think they came back and scored again, you know what I'm saying? And we was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, then I think it was like 1 minute on the clock or something. So I'm over there like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like we had D-boy. And I'm like, man, I still ain't got a chance to play on offense like I want to. So, it's just all type of emotions that you go through when stuff like that happens, you know what I'm saying, for yourself and for your teammates. You feel for your teammates too. So, but man, watching those boys take that thing down the field and score that drive, man, it just let out fireworks, you know what I'm saying? Fireworks of emotion. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was.
100%. Fireworks in motion, phenomenal game. One of the greatest plays in 49ers history, one of the greatest games and wins ever, right? So it was phenomenal. And then obviously, like, you're riding that high, but then you get the NFC Championship game against the Giants. Things didn't go so well. So kind of talk to me about that and kind of what that offseason was like, afterwards.
Man, I still got some dreams that haunt me in that game. I don't know if you remember, but I did get an opportunity in that game.
I did, yeah.
Like 3rd-and-1, and I didn't get it. I got tripped up.
Yeah.
And that was one of my, least favorite memories. Man, just I just remember that game. Yeah, oh man, I'll tell you something else too. I almost was late for that game.
Oh.
So I'm gonna tell you something. I haven't really told this story a lot, but forget it. It's over with now. It's over now. But man, so that day, I never seen so we used to go from Burlingame up to the stadium.
Yeah.
And so that day I never seen the traffic as deep as it was. You know what I'm saying? Even for the Saints game, I don't think it still was that hard to get up to the stadium. But okay, so I'm still a second year player, 22, 23. So I wake up, I'm thinking I got time. I'm doing my thing in the room, getting dressed, put my swag on. I'm like, yeah, I'm play for the championship. I'm going to the Super Bowl, baby. I'm in the room feeling myself, getting one of them type deals. Man, I look at the clock, and next thing you know, I want to say it's about 8:45, 8:30. I'm like, oh shit, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? So boom, I get my stuff, you know what I'm saying? Run downstairs, hop in my car. Man, I'm talking about soon as I get on the freeway, it's backed up. So all the way from Burlingame to Candlestick, that thing was backed up. So I get on the phone, I'm calling, I'm like, Coach, you ain't gonna believe this. You know what I'm saying? I got a late jump. I said, I'm gonna be a little late, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, where you at? Blah, blah, blah. Get your butt here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm on the way, Coach. I'm like, nah, I didn't know. Like, it's bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? From Burlingame to Candlestick. So that was another memory. It's just that game. That game was just not a good game, man. For myself, I think, we still should have won.
Yeah.
But, it just wasn't a good one, but that was, I think those were one of the first licks that turned us into, that team that went to 2 more straight championship games. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get licked like that, and once you go out there and perform like that, okay, now you coming back, you fighting now.
100%.
Now you never want to feel that feeling no more. Like you wanna be right. And I was the next year. I came back in the Atlanta game. I got the same opportunity when we were fighting back against them. 3rd and 1. Need to get this first down to keep the drive going. I got it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those things where it was like, okay, whew, now I can get that off me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
flex on them though, big dog. Come on now. You got that 31.
Oh, they know what's up. They know what's up. They know. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it was just one of those things where, that's what you grind for. That's what you work for.
100%. And talk to me about the off season, like you said, because that's how that you said that loss. I'm sure it was a long off season, but and obviously Randy Moss came. So what was that like? Also with that locker room?
My favorite teammate of all time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Just I grew up watching him.
Yeah,
so it was like it was like dang, we was all looking like dang, that's Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? Then he wore these big Jesus sandals. He wore the big open toe sandals with the big straps on them, like. Then he wore the big baggy clothes. So I used to call him Jesus walking in. I was like, here come Jesus coming through the door. I'm like, them Jesus sandals on. You know what I'm saying? I know I've seen them sandals before, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But, that's just Randy, man. If you know Randy, you know his background. You know his history. We all know what he did. That's Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I was clinging to him. I used to be getting on his nerves. Like, I used to go over there and try to talk to him every chance I get. He used to be like, Boobie, man, why you over here in my corner, man? What you want, man? I'm like, man, I want to talk to Randy Moss, man. You Randy Moss, man. I grew up, Minnesota, the Moss, you got Moss jumping over people's head. That was you. I'm like, man, hey, look, we teammates now, man. How about this? So, you know what I'm saying? I used to just be over there talking to him, messing. He used to be like, man, you crazy, man. You crazy. I'm like, nah, man, I can't believe that I'm playing with Randy Moss, bro. Like, you don't understand. I used to be playing with you on the man, like tearing folks up, stuff like that. Stuff, so, all of that, man. And we had a great season. And Randy was one of those guys that, when he talked, we listen. You know what I'm saying? So it was like he would get on to me about stuff, he hated me drinking sodas and extracurriculum stuff. So Randy was, he was always on to me about stuff. So, I love Randy as a teammate, man. We used to get on the bus ride. I used to go right back there to the back with him and sit right beside. I'm like, yeah, what's up, Randy? What we doing? You know what I'm saying? We finna ball, dog.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
here we go. Here we go.
Yes, sir. And so
Uh,
obviously, like you said, it's funny because when I played in JUCO, I took 81 because Randy was on the Patriots during that time. Because
yeah,
yeah. And so I posted, actually, not like 4 years ago on IG. I'm like, it's the two greatest 81s because my school, the West College Vikings, they're the Vikings, right? And he was the
right.
Patriots, and it was
Wow.
84. And then basically that he saw it, and then he said, "Hey, happy birthday!" I'm like, "Whoa, Randy Moss!
Yeah.
Damn, boy, we made
He's
it!
so cool, man.
It's
He's
so
so cool,
cool."
man.
A great dude, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, talk to me now. Obviously, like you said, now your 2012 season, right? You said, the motivation of losing and the kind of coming back. The team was stacked, and then obviously Kaepernick was, he took the helm, middle of the season when Alex went out. What was that like for you guys, right? And any personal highlights you can share from yourself for that season.
Well, I just remember, I remember doing scout team with Cap,
Yeah.
that every day,
Yeah.
Up until that point where Alex did get hurt, I was on scout team a lot with him, watching him throw. We always watching it. We like, dang, this dude good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He throwing bullets, taking off running. We playing against the first team defense, you know what I'm saying? And we were moving the ball, you know what I'm saying? Got coaching them over there hollering and frustrated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we all knew that he was gonna be that guy when he got his opportunity, but we was all still so happy for Alex, man, because I love Alex just the same.
Yeah.
Alex was a great teammate, man. I did the same things with him. That first preseason, I was on the field with him a lot. When they started starting me after that first game, I was on the field with him a lot in practice. So, he just kind of took me under his wing. He would get me right. Sometimes I wouldn't even know the play. I'm coming, Alex, hold up, what I got. He tell me to play. So I love Alex, man. He was a great teammate, great quarterback. But, when he got hurt, it was Cap turn. You know how the league go. Somebody get hurt, next man up.
Yeah.
Once Cap took that position, we were confident. We had seen it in practice. We knew what he was gonna do. So, he just went out there and did it. And it was one of my fondest memories probably would be I don't know, just the memory I just talked about, against Atlanta. We was down about 3 touchdowns almost against those boys in the championship.
Yeah. 17-0, man.
Yeah, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Rodney White, Tony Gonzalez, Asante Samuel. They had some ballers.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, we didn't know, but I knew when we went in the locker room and how the vibe was. How everybody was still rah-rah. We was in there mad. We was like, hell no, it ain't going down like this. We ain't going out like this. So, boom, we came back in that second half and we started putting in work on them boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had that big third down conversion towards the end. Frank later ran it in on the drive, and you know what I'm saying? That was one of my favorite games that year. Being able to right that wrong from the year before that.
100%. And I won't put you on the spot, but this is just my take. And I mean, I think only Kaepernick could have led that comeback for the Niners. And because we saw in the previous, and we'll talk about the previous game before that, but the previous game against Packers when he just ran roughshod up them boys in Green Bay and Candlestick, right?
Yeah.
I only think Kaepernick could have led the Niners to that comeback win, which, because in my opinion, seeing Alex enough, I didn't know if he had it against the Saints, you know what I mean? But I really feel like only Kaepernick could have led the Niners to that win against the Saints in that second half. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at the time he was the guy, so you know what I'm saying? You got a point.
Yeah. So let's talk about the game before that, right? The Packers game when he set the record for most rushing yards, and you obviously got some burn too. So tell me, what was that? How was that like being beat in Green Bay, on Candlestick and blowing them out?
Well, them guys never beat us. We owned Green Bay. We owned the Green Bay. Like I think
we still do.
Yeah, still do. Still do. Every game we played them in my career with the Niners, we beat them. So it was just like going into the game with them, and we like, okay, it's Green Bay. They're gonna be tough. They got Aaron Rodgers, so what? We us. You know what I'm saying? We us. So, we're gonna beat them. And I just remember Kaepernick just going off. Like you said, he was just going off. Like Charles Woodson, I just remember I still remember Charles Woodson just chasing them down the field, all over the field, everywhere. Didn't even catch him. And I was like, man, this boy cold. But I scored a touchdown in that game too. So I just remember that day being a great day. It was another great day. I think the year before that, we had to go down there, or I want to say it maybe was the year after.
The same year, and the first game of the season, you had to go up to Green Bay and you beat them in Green Bay.
Then, and I didn't get to play that much, but in the playoff game, I got some burn. And then I remember we had to go play them in the cold.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the year after that.
The year after, yeah. We'll get there, but yeah.
But no, the one in Candlestick when Kaepernick went out, man, it was just one of them games where that's when his superstar talent, he started achieving that superstar status. He was like, dang, boy, you cold, boy. I ain't like, you cold, but we knew you were cold. We didn't know you were that cold. You know what I'm saying? Started turning into that. Like, well, you had 200 yards.
It's still an NFL record.
Passing. Boy, you is awesome.
Yeah. Man, boys, man. He was that dude. I think that game proved to everyone who doubted him that it was the right decision to go with Kaepernick over Alex. You know what I mean? So yeah. And so now talk about, obviously, like you said, you guys beat Atlanta. That was your favorite memory. You win the first NFC Championship for the Niners. Where's that ring? Somewhere over there. The first NFC Championship for the Niners in over 18 years. What was it like to finally get over that hump and make it to the Super Bowl? And talk to me about kind of entering, kind of New Orleans,
Man, it was like I don't know, it was like a relief.
Yeah.
But what happened after that, still doesn't feel good to this day. But it was just a relief, man. It was a great accomplishment. It's something I hang my hat on, because we busted our ass that season. You know what I'm saying? And we had a comeback victory. The year before that, we got our feelings crushed, in Candlestick. And, then we had to go on the road the next year to beat Atlanta, beat a team with some Hall of Famers on it, when you do stuff like that, that make you feel like Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I just remember the grind of it, you know what I'm saying? And like you say, at that point, we had been picked to win in most games. So now we was playing as a favorite, which I didn't like, what I'm saying? I always felt like I was the underdog. I always had the underdog mentality. But, that year we played a lot of time from the favorite and we was getting teams' best shot, you know what I'm saying? But we was handling them. We was more physical. We had more energy. We was more focused than teams, you know what I'm saying? So, we was really showing people like we here to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like this last year wasn't no fluke. You know what I'm saying? So people were saying that, well, Harbaugh came in the first year. That was a fluke. They should have been in the championship game. All right. Well, this year we're going to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all can stop that, but that was stuff people were saying. So, we was hearing it, but we was also focused on, righting that wrong from last year that, we just kept getting better from it.
100%. And so what was that like, stepping in the Super Bowl as a favorite in the media week, kind of all that stuff? How was that like?
Man, that was crazy, man. Like that was one of the best, probably the best week of my life. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had any kids yet. So right now, that's still sticky. It's the best week of my life, man. Like just being there, man. You know what I'm saying? Coming from everything, like grinding. The road was long, man. It felt so long and hard to get there. And then just to be able to be down there on Bourbon with my family and, us walking down the strip, I never forget all the fans being outside the hotel. Like it was like a movie. Every day we walked outside. Like, man, it was just one of them things, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, the best week of my life, and it ended with that bad note, but I still just love that week so much.
100%. And I think it's an important point touched upon because a lot of people say, oh, you have to win the Super Bowl to basically be memorable. But in my opinion, if you're able to snap a drought of 18 years of not winning an NFC Championship, that says something, and that's something that you can always hang your hat on and cherish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we won't get talking about the Super Bowl too much because that's what hurts me too. But I want to ask just one thing, because I mean, the slow start of the first half, right? And you came back. It was a phenomenal comeback when lights went out. But then kind of what did you think about that play calling of Greg Roman? This is just my opinion. I think, going to Crabtree 3 or 4 times instead of handing off to Uragor at the goal line.
Some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're my guys, man.
Yeah.
Greg. I love playing for Greg, man. Because I did really feel like he wanted me in there. But of course it didn't happen. They didn't call my number or Frank's number. And I felt like that. That was part of the reason why we lost. And I love Crabtree, man. Crabtree, my boy. Throw it to Crabtree. He get one, I get one too, though.
Yeah.
He get one too, though. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I should have got one too, Frank. Give Frank one, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I just straight up being honest, I ain't like that play call. I ain't like that play call. I didn't like it, none at all. I felt like if I would have got it or Frank would have got it, we would have scored and we would have been Super Bowl champion. You know what I'm saying? And I the next year, my case in point, against Seattle, we going down there in the loudest place, the most craziest place to play at the time. You know what I'm saying? The Legion of Boom, all this. And, first drive of the game, I go over the top of the defense on the goal line and put us up 7-zip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the Legion of Boom, we got the boom.
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, just, stuff like that, man, just make you think like, dang, what if they would have just did that in the Super Bowl, just gave me my shot? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, stuff like that, it's always up for debate.
Always up for debate, but where we stand on that, so we're good.
Right. Man, I done got older. Man, and I done mature now, so it don't sting as much. Back when it happened, I was furious, man. I was But now, since you kind of just it's water under the bridge now. You know what I'm saying? We all moving on. Doing different stuff with our lives, doing the next great things. You know what I'm saying? So. Man, it's just stuff that we can talk about now,
100%. So now let's talk about that. Your last year in San Francisco, where you basically ended your first NFL start in the NFC Championship game against the Legion of Boom. Talk to me about that season, kind of everything that happened and kind of, leading up to that last NFC Championship run.
Oh, man, it was another tough year. I wasn't really getting along with my running back coach that well. I won't say his name, you know what I'm saying, because it's not worth it. But but yeah, man, I wasn't really, and it stemmed from the year before, and I was just like, I just wasn't having a good year with him, and so it was a lot of. I was frustrated. I had kind of got in trouble a couple of times for tweeting out my frustration because I wanted to play, man.
Yeah,
I knew I was ready, and I
Yeah.
wanted to play, and I'm like, man, I'm out here balling in practice against our first defense. I used to be giving them hell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they was like, damn, you need to play, boy. We don't, they hated seeing me. You know what I'm saying? Some days, so it was just like, and I'm just like, dang, man, why I'm not playing? Like, I need to play.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating, but we was winning. So it was like, all right, I guess I'll take that, check still coming, we winning, I guess, you know what I'm saying? So, it was just a whole lot of that. And I just wanted to keep doing my part too, so because we was fighting hard to get back to the Super Bowl. And I always told myself I gotta stay ready. Like, even though it's your shot's not coming, you gotta keep working, you gotta keep grinding, you gotta stay ready because that shot gonna come, and you gotta be ready for it. So, I had some days where I think my energy was kind of down, but for the most part, I kept it up and I kept fighting. And I just remember us having like another one of them grinding seasons. I think we started as a wild card that year.
Yeah.
I want to say, yeah. And my favorite, in Green Bay. Yeah, that cold game. Oh my goodness. I remember playing in that game, man, the coldest game I ever played in. But I also had a crucial 10-yard catch to kind of get us going in the second half. I remember in the third quarter, we had went a couple drives without getting the first down. And, coach put me, in the offense, the F flank out on the numbers.
Yeah.
And I ran a little hitch route. And Tremont Williams was guarding me, but he didn't come down, like he was playing off on me. And I ran a little 10-yard route, Kaepernick threw me the ball and I caught it. You know what I'm saying? And got a first down in that game. And, you know, we got going again. And, you know what I'm saying? And went down there and scored and, you know, started making that comeback. And, you know, I just remember the game being cold. I remember on the sideline, you know, snot coming out my nose, fingertips frozen. But we over there fighting like, nah, we got to get these boys. These boys can't beat us. They can't beat us. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was one of my favorite memories from that year. Just grinding with the boys another year to be with my teammates, man. You know, we had so much fun off the field as well. So, you know, I can go on and on.
100%. Yeah, no, it was a great game, great win. Obviously, then you became to 3-0 against Green Bay. You know, ultimately, right? I think 4-0, whatever it is. You know, so
then when I went to Buffalo, they didn't beat us in Buffalo either. They never beat me.
Yeah, you didn't. They didn't.
Green Bay.
Yeah, and so actually, let's talk about the game after that Carolina Panthers game. You know, obviously you got Cap go like this, you got Navarro go like this. You know what I mean? When they get Cam down, how was that divisional game like? You know, for against Carolina.
Against Carolina, oh man, that game was lit. You know what I'm saying? I remember us going down there. I remember Steve Smith. He was so angry at me before the game. You know what I'm saying? Because I came out the tunnel just on my dog shit. You know what I'm saying? Just barking. Just bouncing like I do, you know what I'm saying? Flexing, you know what I'm saying? And Steve Smith, he was hot. He was upset. And I was telling him, you know, I told him before the game, I said, hey, this our house now. Why you so mad? This our house. We finna turn this shit to our house. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to him too. Hey, 24. Hey, 24. Hey, who you talking to? He was mad, boy. So, you know what I'm saying? But that was part of my thing too. I like getting under players' skin. I like talking to the defense. I wanted to get under players' skins and rattle. So I came out with that whole intention. Then he dropped the punt during the game. I was right on top of you. See, I told you this is our house. You scared. You scary. You know what I'm saying? Like this. I was giving it to him good. That man wanted to kill me out there. Yeah. But man, I just remember us going down there and just handling that business.
Yeah.
You know, I remember dominating them on special teams. I almost blocked the kick. I was this close from blocking a punt that game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But we were pressure all day on them boys. They was not ready. They was not ready.
No, they weren't ready. You know, like you said, like, you know, the obviously y'all came in with that dog mentality. Like you said, you know, you get in their face, getting their under the skin, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Make it nasty. We made it nasty.
Yeah, it was nasty. I love that game. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about now. Obviously, you said the NFC Championship game, right, against Seattle. You know, your first NFC Championship start. A lot of experts picked the Niners to win that game. I feel like what you said about the Super Bowl was the same thing with the NFC Championship game. When the Niners were the favorites, I don't know why, but just bad luck happened, right? And I just think, like, you know, we should. I mean, you always had that underdog mentality. I'm sure a lot of guys, the team had the underdog mentality. But I mean, talk to me about, obviously you go into the number 1 seed Seattle house, and you basically almost beat them, right? Minus, you know, that last play. Again, that's just, you know what I mean? So let's talk about that game. Tell me about your first NFL career start against the NFC Championship against Seattle.
Well, I remember just getting a start at fullback. I think Bruce Miller had got hurt.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? I was ready, you know, because I had went to Coach Harbaugh earlier in that training camp before the season even started. And I was like, I wasn't getting no burn at halfback. I don't know if you remember that year they brought in Brandon Jacobs, Rock Cartwright, and I think we drafted Marcus Lattimore or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it came to the running back depth chart, I was at the bottom. So, you know, I started doing fullback reps. I went to Coach one day. I said, Coach, man, just let me play fullback, man, because I'm not getting no burn. It's the second, third day in a row. I ain't got no burn at halfback. Let me get some burn at fullback, man. And so I started doing it, and I went out there. I started smacking dudes. I was so mad. I was just murdering guys. And they were like, hey, D, you actually pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? You actually can do it. I'm like, I know I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm an elite athlete. I ain't here for no reason. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, I just remember getting that start. You know, that was, again, hard work in training camp, paying off. You know what I'm saying? So I remember, you know, the game starting. I remember they had a corner. I forget his name, number 41. I think it was my first play of the game. I just went out there and tried to ragdoll him. I just grabbed him, tried to block him all the way to the sideline, like get up in his face. You know what I'm saying? I was that type of player, you know. But I just remember, just playing hard, man. You couldn't hear. We could not hear each other out there in the huddle. It was so bad. And yeah, man, I wish I got more opportunities in that game. Obviously I stole the touchdown. I also had another 4-yard run, 5-yard run, close to the red zone. But he wouldn't dose me up, man. He wouldn't feed me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it is what it is. Another one of them games, like, damn, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man.
But hey, it went down how it went down. We went out with my boy Crabtree again. And it was unfortunate how it went down. You know what I'm saying? I wish we could have made those plays, or Crab and Cap could have made that connection. But that's how it went.
Just how it went. Like you said, I mean, it's one play that can decide the game. And I think that game proved Niners were still, that team. But that offseason, things obviously between the organization, the head coach, and the ownership and the general management kind of came out ahead. And you and many other players ended up leaving. You know what I mean? So talk to me about that.
That was just part of it, man. I wanted more opportunity. I think, with the losing, when you lose in big games like that now, it can create some adversity within the team.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out, I don't want to say, we were finger pointing, but I don't know why, I don't know exactly why Trent and Jim Harbaugh was always going at each other neck like that, but it's just kind of what we grew to expect. They was doing it on the sideline for a couple of years.
Yeah.
We had to break them up a couple of years. So, I think the writing was on the wall for a lot of us. It was like, okay, we done did this 3 straight years, and we used to have so many meetings, like at each other's house, like player meetings, like where we guys just sitting around talking. And I just had been telling the guys, I was like, man, I want more opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and once the off season hit and I started moving around and 49ers offered me just a minimum, I was kind of hurt. My feeling was hurt. And I was just like, nah, bro. Like, I'm not finna come back here again for a minimum to keep working with this guy they got me working with and to get these less opportunities. No. I'm about to go, spread my wings again and fly. You know what I'm saying? So that's what ultimately led to me going down there to Buffalo, and I had the best year of my career. Went down there, finished second on the team, rushing, immediate impact, doing what I knew I could do. You know what I'm saying? So rest of his blocked 2 kicks on, kickoff on punt. You know what I'm saying? Was second on the team in tackles. So I showed my work. You know what I'm saying? Niners lost a hell of a player when they lost me. So, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, I wish they would have realized that when it was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's just stuff like that. But it's all good. I'm back with the family. We had a great weekend this weekend, and, we're going to keep this thing rolling.
100%. And so obviously And so talking to me about kind of, obviously with playing with Shady McCoy and kind of, the other running backs in Buffalo, was there, and like you said, you had your best season. Kind of what was your favorite highlight from the 2013 season with Buffalo?
Man, that, like I said, that first year, I was having a lot of success running the ball.
Yeah.
Then I started the second game of the season. I blocked the kick against the Dolphins to kind of turn their game. So, they would get an immediate impact from me, right out the gate. You know what I'm saying? And I became a leader on that team right out the gate. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I just showed my worth. It felt good. You know what I'm saying? To be somewhere where you could show your ability, and I had less frustrating days. You know what I'm saying? Going home. So, it was just great. It was awesome. Best year of my career. I felt like individual wise, I felt like I should have made the Pro Bowl on special teams that year because not only did I play every game, I was a force out there. They was double teaming me. I was getting double team on kickoff. I was blocking kicks. I played every snap. You know what I'm saying? Never came off the field. So they robbed me. They gave it to Slater that year. But even when we played New England, I didn't let him touch the ball. He couldn't. I told Coach, I want him. Give me him.
Yeah.
They say he the best dude. I say I'm the best dude. I promise you, he ain't gonna touch the ball today. And I was in his face every play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like I definitely should have made the Pro Bowl that year. And yeah, man, but I had the best year of my career. Best year of my career. Yep.
You definitely robbed that Pro Bowl. I watched you and then make
Yeah,
those plays that you talked about, bro. I mean, hey, man, it is what it is, you know. So
it is what it is, man. Long as my peers know, I think my peers know, I still get the respect from my peers and the fans. So long as they know, you know, I know a lot of that other stuff. It's like, you know, there's a lot of politics in that. You know, they like the favorite. They got their favorites. I obviously I was never a favorite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything I got, I took, I earned.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, you know, it is what it is. I take it.
100%. Let's talk about your last year in Buffalo and your final year, your sixth at least year in the season. Kind of what year of the league? Kind of what was that like for you? And kind of when did you know to hang it up?
Well, man, you know, I still wanted to play, you know, and I did the spring league. I went and did the spring league after my last year in Buffalo. I had the back injury and I fought through that, man. Oh my God. That was one of the hardest years of my career.
Yeah.
Because I was hurt the whole year, really. I tore my calf in training camp and I did a month of rehab, came back and was playing with a big long slit on from coming up from the back of my knee all the way under my foot, like holding my calf together. I played 4-5 games like that. And then a game against the New York Giants, I want to say it was week 6. Week 7, I got hit in the back of my leg, bent over, and I knew I was hurt because I felt the pain I ain't never felt. You know, turning around, I had a broken back. I fractured my L5, but my butt being the dog I was, I played the rest of the year, you know what I'm saying, popping Advil and, just really just fighting through it. And, you know what I'm saying? And I just knew I was hurt though. You know, my teammates knew I was hurt. My energy wasn't the same at practice. Like every time I came off the field, I had to sit down or take a knee. So I was like, dog, I'm losing power in my leg. My leg fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, but I was fighting though. I was still out there playing, dog. Never said nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? The doctors knew. We talked about it. In the meantime, I was like, man, I'm gonna play. I don't give a damn. Like I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? So I played and yeah, it was just like a frustrating season. Me and Anthony Lynn, we didn't have the best relationship because, he wasn't really understanding that year. He was, studying on me about weight this, weight that. And I'm like, Coach, I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be glad I'm out here still fighting for your ass and fighting with your ass. You want to come in here and razz me about weight every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man? I'm clocking in and I'm working. Damn that weight. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
That's how I felt. Like you being ticky-tacky, but that's how I felt. But, of course, how they see it, that's how it's going to go. And it was just a frustrating year with him. And, that was my last one.
Yeah, but I mean, you ended up, obviously, still getting some tutties, you know what I'm saying? Just scoring and, blocking kicks and doing that.
Yeah. And I always showed up.
Yeah.
I always showed up, but it was, and I felt like I had more once I did the rehab.
Yeah.
And I, fought my way back. I felt like I had more in the tank. But I think, the once you get 30 years old and you got those type of injuries on you, you become like I guess a hazard. The doctors did tell me while I was playing with the injury, if I could have got paralyzed if I, would have got hit even worse. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you crazy for even going back out there and playing, when you did. So it was just like one of those things. And I kind of knew, the writing was on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And I think I also, think too, my support for my guys, didn't help, as well either. Of course, I supported Kaepernick and all of that, you know what I'm saying? So once, they see, I guess when they seen that happening too, they like, oh no, we ain't going there. Cause you know how they was acting at first when that happened. So, it was, I think a lot of different things had play into it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not about what you can do, it's about who you know. You know what I'm saying? So some of my relationships with some of the guys that I was, in there with, I think that had ran its course too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's a lot of things you can throw up in there. I feel like I could throw up in there that led to me not getting another shot. Because if you watch my spring league tape, when I went to the spring league, I murdered them.
Yeah.
I killed them. You know what I'm saying? Like standout, top dog, no doubt. But I didn't get no calls. You know what I'm saying? So, it's one of those things where I kind of knew. I said, okay, I see what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? So, I just started getting into other stuff. I just hung it up.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it's sometimes it's better, to just kind of, I mean, even though you got a lot in the tank, right? It's just like, when that politics and that bullshit hits, I'm just gonna, for me too, like when I was trying to like, go JUCO and get some offers, they're like, oh, you're too small, they're like, yeah, I mean, if you're too small, then we can't really do much with you. So I'm like, all right, whatever, and like you said, it's who you know. It's not necessarily what you can do, obviously,
Yeah.
because you proved at that point you could play, those 2 seasons in Buffalo, you proved that you can actually, if you get an opportunity, you can be an every down back, right?
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I think, to your point, it's just literally politics. And I mean, that's no fault of your own, especially if you look at the tape. So,
Right.
yeah.
Man, for those reasons, that's why I can still, hold my head up high and enjoy life and enjoy all this stuff, man. Because, I know, my peers know. So it's all good,
Yes, sir. We all know, baby. Boobie
Yeah.
out here, baby.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you mentioned you talk about getting other stuff after you stopped playing. So talk to me what did you get into? Like business endeavors, investments, sport broadcasting, coaching. What was that?
Man, I went back to Mississippi.
Yeah.
And I've been working with high schoolers. I was going to different high schools, talking to football teams,
Yeah.
training athletes. I'm coaching at my high school. Man, just trying to get back out there and give to the community, trying to drop this knowledge off on other guys, trying to push the next guys forward, trying to go back and motivate them, man. I always been that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like people who know me, they know I always been a people person. So like when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, I'm like, okay, football over. Like what's next? It was like, man, let's just go back to the crib, get back around the fam, catch up. Cause I felt like I had been growing apart, from some of my family because like I was always on the road. I was always home. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna go back home, I'm gonna catch back up with, some of my cousins, some of my, my grandma, some of my relatives that I didn't get to see all the time. And, I'm gonna go back to my high school. I'm gonna work with them. They were sorry at the time, they were trash. So I was like, man, we gotta get this back right. Cause this is not how I left it. You know what I'm saying? And bam, I show up that first year. We have a 7-4 season. We get that thing back turned around. You know what I'm saying? So, proud of those accomplishments. This year we got kids at Terry High School, man, that's gonna sign scholarships, when the signing period come. And we had kids last year, and I'm proud of that, man. We pushing them out of there, you know what I'm saying? So it's another thing that I hang my hat on, you know what I'm saying? And I got kids that I train outside of my high school. So it's just, man, I just went home just trying to be a positive influence in my community still. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what my plan was.
100%. No, absolutely. No, giving back is sometimes the best kind of gift. You know what I mean? I coached a little bit for high school for a little bit, kind of, a few years ago before the pandemic hit. And then the pandemic hit, then it was basically like, okay, yeah, I can't really, I mean, unless I try to get out there, but it's kind of hard, because, it's just, I mean, but the pandemic hit, obviously the connections and kind of the window was kind of smaller, you know what I mean? So ultimately, but I think it's right what you said about, being able to give back and spread that knowledge, because then the next generation can definitely, like you said, take their talents to the next level, right? You're seeing that with the kids you're developing, right? So
yeah. And then it's just, the hardest thing about it is just, working with the grown-ups. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
That's the hardest part.
Let me tell you, I remember one time practice with the QB's coach's dad, or the QB's dad, right? He came there, then he said, hey man, he's like, what are the coaches, what are they doing? Why they telling you not to throw to this player, this player? He said, stop throwing to them. And then he said, oh, but coach wants, all the JV varsity get their kind of, the reps in. So then, JV guys get better. And then basically he's like, how about I stop bringing you? Then they'll get better. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, why you, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
Shit.
It's just not, man, like when you coming from, especially where I come from, man, it's not organized like you
Yeah,
like it. They don't communicate like you want them to communicate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then like it's just our philosophy is so different. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how I see the game and how they see the game. Like, I'll be like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
sometimes it's just frustrating and stressful, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I know what I know, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, these guys, they know, they feel like they know what they know and they stuck in their ways. Sometimes you can't always get grown-ups to grow like
yeah,
you want them to. My thing is I try to push growth even on the coaches because I see, I know how it's been done at the top level.
exactly.
So when I see our coaches not, operating like that or like they should, I try to push that on them. But everybody don't always want that. You know what I'm saying? Some folks just want to do it how they do it. Some folks only know one way to do it, and that's just how they gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing that they love to say, coach, this not the NFL, coach. This not the pros. I'm like, I know it's not, but we gotta get them in that mentality. We need to start getting them ready for that. We need to start getting them ready for their walk of life. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So it's just, man, like I say, the hardest part is working with the grown-ups. I love working with the kids, you know what I'm saying? But, if I could, change some things with them grown-ups, I would, you know what I'm saying? And I
yeah.
would love it even more. You know what I'm saying? So, but man, like I say, I take pride in it. I love being there. I love, being there for my community. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I'm probably gonna go back and do it. The season just ended. We didn't finish up too well, but I'm probably gonna go head back and have a conversation with them, have a meeting with them, and see where we can go from here.
100%. No, it's all building blocks. You know what I mean? Even if it doesn't go well, there's something to learn from and build on. So yeah. And so let's talk about the Niners right now. Obviously, now that you're watching, kind of what do you see in this? This team's 4-4. They're currently in the wild card spot. What are you thinking, especially with Christian McCaffrey now on the team? What are you expecting from this team right now?
Oh man, I'm expecting great things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like always, you know what I'm saying? They can't do what they did last year and not expect for us to, expect great things this year.
Yeah.
They kind of set the bar for that. That's the
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then you go out and get a player like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to see them make one more move. Maybe is the deadline up? Has the trade deadline passed?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, yeah, I would like to see them possibly make one more move. I think it's gonna be some more guys out there available. You know what I'm saying? So, let's stack up. I mean, you got to look at see what teams like the Eagles, um, man, they loading up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Going for it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we got to go for it too.
Yeah.
It worked. It worked for the Rams last year. The Rams, you know what I'm saying, loaded up around this time, and they made it. They was able to finish.
Yeah.
So I love this CMC trade. I was hoping they could get like at least one more. I would say if we could get like another cornerback or a safety, you know what I'm saying, I would love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that I don't love our guys that we got now, but if we can get another like, guy that can lock down this part, because I was at the Chiefs game, man, and they just gave up too much for my liking.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, you know what I'm saying? And they got great players too, but they just gave up way too much. And so I would like to see us, possibly try to draft or bring in a lockdown corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just one more lockdown corner, just one more, all pro safety. They playing, I seen in the game, they playing 3 of them anyway. So
Yeah.
you never can't have too many, you know what I'm saying? So, I think I was watching the game. I think at one time they had Ward and they like dime nickel package. They were playing Ward, Tafanga. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not.
Yeah.
And the other guy, what the other guy, number 31?
Jimmy Ward? No.
Not Jimmy Ward, number 31. I can't remember what his name was.
It's not Mosley. It might be something else.
He was new. I felt like he was a new guy.
Yeah. Lenore, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they was playing all 3 safeties. So, I like that said. I would like to see them play, play some more of that. And you know, like I said, if they can pick up another safety or another corner, I think that would be great.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Speaking of safeties corners, we know that you know your teammate, what's his name? Golly, I can't get on something. No, Terrell Brown. Yeah, he's gonna be on the show in a few weeks. So
TV,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Tell TV, man, stop whining, man. Stop whining. Nah, I'm kidding. Nah, he used to be, you know, he used to be one of them guys that you know, when I came out there, you know, I was full of that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Anybody would get me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I used to be stiff on them and you know, the cornerbacks and you know, put my hand in their face and just nasty. And T Brown used to be one of the main ones, used to be upset. Like, man, why you gotta do that? Why you gotta do that every day, man? I'm like, man, y'all trying to take the ball from me, bro. Like, I don't play that. Y'all don't understand. He like, man, our coach is telling us to practice on, you know, taking the ball. I don't give a damn what y'all coach is telling y'all.
Yeah.
I don't play that. You try to take the ball from me, I'm gonna smack you. So, you know what I'm saying, man? That was my mentality. T Brown, he just couldn't stand that. He just, man, you difficult. You difficult, man. You so too difficult.
Yeah.
But now, man, he another one of the guys that, you know, he was a ultimate pro. You know, T Brown, one of them guys that was ultimate pro. You know, if you got 11 T Browns, if you got 11 guys operating like T Brown, you're gonna have a pretty solid, disciplined team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was ultimate pro. So I always got respect for him for that.
100%. No, he definitely was ultimate pro. That's why he became a starting corner, you know. And like you, he was also robbed the Pro Bowl and the All Pro selection. I don't know why they didn't let him get, you know, at least one. You know what I mean? Because but politics. Yeah. So, all right, closing thoughts. Kind of, you know, what do you? So you already talked about the Niners. Kind of anything else to close out with?
Man, as far as the Niners go,
Or anything, it don't matter.
Man, you know, I just want to say, you know, appreciate you for having me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Niner faithful, man. You know, it's always gonna be love from Boobie D. You know, shout out to my guy Hella Fitted 415 for the fresh jumpsuit too, man.
Ooh,
y'all
look at that.
You want to get you one? I let my guy. He on Instagram, Hella Fitted 415. Man, shout out my fam. You know, back home. Shout out my kids at Terry High School, and man, I'm just looking forward to, you know, more positive vibes, you know, just looking forward to spread more great energy and, you know, seeing this world get better, man. I hope everybody can, you know, try to grasp onto that and just be, you know, better at what they, you know, at who they are. You know, everybody be themselves, but just be a better version of yourself. Just be the best version of yourself, you know, the most positive, the most, you know, influential, you know, because there's so much crazy stuff going on in this world, man. So, you know, I think, you know, people just got to come together, man, and, you know, get some good energy out here, man. Get some good vibes going, man. You know, so that's what I'm all about, man. So, do my closing thoughts.
100%. No, Boo, we appreciate you having you on, big dog. And I forgot one more thing. I didn't want to close out before I ask you what prompted you to take number 24.
Hold up, say that one more time.
What prompted you to take number 24 for the Niners?
Oh yeah, man. You know, when I came there, I think Mike Robinson had it.
Yeah.
Like, and I wore number 33, but I was always 24. You know, I was 24 in college, 24 in high school. So, you know, I felt like that was my number. I was like, bro, you got my number on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I need that. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Mike Rob was still on the team, so I didn't even know if I was actually going to get it till they cut him, you know, that same year. And, you know, luckily I was able to get in it. But, yeah, man, 24 was just my number. It's just my birthday. My birthday is September 24. So, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the 24th is my number, 24 is my date. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. No, for me, 81 because of Randy. So that's how I took it. And everyone's like, T.O., T.O. But I was like, nah, it's for Randy. We're Niners fans, so you got to be T.O.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
It was just for my birthday, man. I didn't really go based off nobody else. You know, I was just like, you know, I just kind of came up with my own little thing. I'm like, okay, every day on the 24th, that's my day anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be 24.
Yeah. And for me, I mean, I'm a Lakers fan. So, I mean, you know, Kobe, I mean, so you know, that's another reason why I'm 24 was great.
You know, I wasn't a big Lakers fan, and I really wasn't a big Kobe Bryant fan. But, you know, I definitely salute his work. I respect his work. You know, and it comes from a competitive standpoint, you know, even, you know, now, you know, with watching his story, man, and seeing some of the stuff he was doing, I done became more big of a fan than I was that he was playing.
Yeah.
Like when he was playing, I couldn't stand Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know what I'm saying, man? Like, you know, after all that stuff and just being able to watch his life and watch his story and watch some of the people, watch how he worked, stuff I didn't know about him. I was like, dang, this dude really was like me. No wonder why he was so damn good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I got nothing but respect for, you know what I'm saying? Cole, man, RP the legend.
RP legend, you know, Black Mamba. Yeah, you know, we out, you know, I mean, the Laker Nation out here, even though, you know, if you ain't part of the Bullies, all good. You know what I mean? 24 is 24. You know, you out here.
See, I'm a Bulls fan too. I'm a Bulls fan. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got you. Yeah, you know, so yeah, Bulls playing pretty good right now. Appreciate you, big dog. Everyone, check out Boobie, IG Anthony _ Boobie Dixon, Boobie Dix 24 on Twitter, and any other links I need to drop. Because that's it, I think. Yeah, that's it. All right. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you, everyone. Digital Podcast. We out.
We out, baby.